Okay. Hello, everyone. This is round two of our live stream. This is Refined Strategic Blueprint and also looking at streaming into three different places and checking our quality of stream. The earlier stream did not have some audio, so we are starting fresh with this one. Thank you for your patience for those who were in the other one. Hopefully, you can find your way here and we'll get it all straightened out. My name is Marilyn Crump, and I am the CEO and founder of Art Inspired LLC. And we are presenting under our new brand, Refined Success, and I'm very excited to be here. We have wonderful people who are going to be tapping in with their questions. My goal is to do a Q&A once a month to help others out there, and then also just to kind of reiterate some things that I've discovered that could be helpful to you. So even if you're not on here live, my goal is that you find some great nuggets that's going to move your business forward. So part of what I do as a business developer and marketing strategist is work with individual clients as well as run a mastermind where we talk about business, creativity, innovation, marketing, and all sorts of things in order to progress our businesses forward. I love the word refined because refining is all about like working into the process and studying things that may not just be immediately there, where you're constantly making tweaks in order to really get yourself set up and develop something truly unique and appropriate for your business and the goals that you have for the growth of your business. For me, this is 25 years in service to others. Started my business, Art Inspired, in the year 2000 while I was in college. And so here we are 25 years later. I'm very excited to mark this milestone as a wonderful way to kind of thanks to those who've been supporting this whole time and just as a way to really kind of say, hey, we've done something that's left a mark. So very thankful, very grateful for all of the wonderful things that we've done. Awesome. So here we are doing some Q&A and we're checking on some things here just to see if everything's working out okay. So if you are hearing me and if this is coming through, please let me know in the comments. So that way, if I need to adjust anything, I can go ahead and do so. And I'm checking myself here on YouTube just to see how it's going. So Casey is here now. Casey, I know earlier we had Thaddeus on board. So could you send him a quick message and say that we have a fresh stream happening and he can either catch it on LinkedIn or YouTube. Oh, I hear myself on there. That's perfect. Okay, so I can see Casey's comment and I'm just going to publish it like so. Anytime you comment, you'll be able to see yourself. So feel free to introduce yourself and let us know like what's on your mind and how we can offer some answers. So Casey's also going to be putting some questions forward that we've had already before the live stream. That way, we keep the conversation moving. So the first one says here, what are the most effective digital marketing strategies for small businesses to improve brand visibility and increase customer engagement? Okay, so these layered questions are fantastic because there's so many things to write down. So if you have a piece of paper and your pen, I like writing things down, even though you might want to watch the replay later. Just writing things down helps you clarify things for yourself. Now, part of what we are talking about here is let's see here, effective digital marketing strategies. So, first of all, do you know your brand and where your audiences are? Because if you're speaking in the wrong place or not saying the right things clearly, those two things right off the bat is going to work against you. I think part of what you need to do constantly is take assessment and to say, like, where are most people finding the services that they're looking for? Am I showing up well in those spaces? What can I do to refine my marketing strategy in that particular platform? If you are also trying to get out there as far as like allowing people to discover you, you also have to be where most people are because then through word of mouth or by attention, then you stand out in their minds when it comes to needing certain things. So, for example, you may have a business that is only needed at certain times of people's lives. Let's say you're a which example can we use? A car mechanic, right? So it's not always that our car is going to break down, but when we need a car mechanic, we go through certain places to go look for that. So if I do that as a career, a service, as a company, am I going to show up where people are searching? The first thing that people normally do is, of course, ask their friends. And then if they do that, sometimes they'll go on spaces like Facebook. I really don't see a lot of people posting help things in Instagram or even LinkedIn. They're going to mainly go to Facebook and say, hey, everyone, who knows of a really good mechanic that can help me out, who's fair and does good work? People want already from the get-go the consensus from people that they know and trust. So if you're not on Facebook and you know that that question may be asked about your business or someone to point towards your business, then you're kind of going to be invisible, because a lot of times people want to quickly answer the question by tagging your business. So there's somebody I've been trying to get on Facebook even more, who's in one of my networking groups. And he's like, it's just not my platform. I'm not used to it. But then anytime something comes up, I have a hard time trying to tag his business because he's not there. And most of the time, people beat me to it. So by the time someone asks about what he does or is needing a recommendation for what he is known for outside of Facebook, everybody else is filling the comment stream with tags of people who are on Facebook. I cannot. Therefore, then I have to go and grab his website, which I don't mind doing, post it on there, but a little too late because most people are just at tagging a certain business or stuff like that. So you don't have to be even fully optimized. You have to be present. So one strategy is, are you present in where your audience normally engages in? So that's one big thing to think about. And as far as maybe you are there, how do I improve being there? And then how do I increase engagement? Okay, so we are all about getting attention. So certain algorithms pretty much reward you for doing certain things. Video, 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 I would say gets the most organic rewards in all of these platforms. If you're not doing video and you're not showing up as yourself, you don't even have to have anything scripted, just even 5 minutes here and there, 3 minutes here and there, 30 seconds here and there, you're going to win the algorithm game. And you have to be consistent. One of the things that you can do now that's pretty on the forefront of what's happening on the algorithm of, let's say, Facebook, is that they're rewarding you for being a creator. So look at your personal profile. If you're interested in switching into the professional dashboard, being known as a creator on that platform is going to help you. If you look at my personal page, you'll see a blue verification check mark, because that is something new that I went ahead and engaged with in December, so that I can go ahead and showcase like how that's changing and what kind of analytics I'm getting. Definitely has changed a lot, but I have been diligent in following the rules of what the expectations are as a creator. So I've been going live in one of my groups every morning. There's only been one morning that I failed to do so, but I'm trying to be very consistent about it. And also I've been posting, of course, like you can't say you're a creator if you're not posting regularly. So using my personal profile to post as many times as I can, but not trying to be like redundant or annoying, right? Some people are like, I don't want to be annoying, Marilyn. Well, here's the thing. People are only going to see what they're into, which is pretty cool. So you kind of can't overdo it, because if they don't want to see you, they can just unfollow or look at something else. And that's a way for your stuff to fall off if they're not really interested in it. So you have to kind of just be authentic and not overthink it, and just see what you start noticing. We're going to refine your presence on Facebook. You're not going to get it right off the bat. You might need a couple of things to try, like trial and error for just how you pace through things, but set up something realistic. So those to me are the most easy and effective ways to go ahead and improve your brand visibility, because most of the time your face is your brand. So another kind of like high level way to do it would be, can you create a branded show? So what you're watching here is me on brand doing what I do best and showcasing that. Can you do a podcast? Do you show up on other people's podcasts? Is there any way that you can really kind of bring your brand up to the level of what other big top brands have been doing for years, even before the internet? So people will have shows. If you look back on the history of television, they would have these shows sponsored by these big companies because they know that because they're getting attention and people are like, oh, I'm watching this great show that gives me entertainment. Look, it's sponsored by a brand that I do laundry detergent from, right? So people make those connections inadvertently because they're liking the scenario that they're in when they see that brand pop up. And that is not by accident. Like the marketers from the past know that, and the marketers that are very keen to that do that as well now. That's why you've seen all of these new things pop up, like podcast episodes, like people getting on YouTube and becoming a branded channel. That's just how we get attention these days. And you have to jump into there. I will make a side note that today, the past, I don't know, 24 hours has been all about TikTok drama. And I know a lot of people were getting their attention from that platform, TikTok. And from what I know, it's back up. But you never know, right? You never know. You never know with any platform whether or not it's going to be there for you. So one suggestion that I will make is to go ahead and diversify, make your presence known, claim your brand on every platform that you can. Most of the time it is free for you to do that. So why wouldn't you go ahead and claim your real estate if it's a free option to do so? So get on LinkedIn. Even if you're not doing as much with it just yet, start developing connections there. Substack is where I'm really gravitating towards these days to kind of tell people about its formatting and what you can do with it. This week, they just opened up the option where you can go live from their app. So you can create content there very easily and really kind of solidify where your brand stands there. YouTube. Are you on YouTube? Are you doing things on there? Are you on other social media platforms? Again, just make sure that you are there. You don't have to be fully like utilizing it, but what if you get locked out of one of your accounts? There's been times where things weren't accessible on Facebook. You have to be able to announce on other platforms that you're going to be there temporarily until you can get back on a platform. And some of y'all know this. Sometimes you get locked out, and I already mentioned that, but it could be something that you've done, or if someone hacks you, you just don't know, and you don't want to put all your stuff in one social media platform. There's a thing I posted on my personal. I said, don't put all your eggs on one social media platform. That's just how I feel about it. And that would be good practice to start thinking about. Okay, so good stuff there. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in. Or if you need clarification on something I just said, or if something else pops up, feel free to put it on the comment stream. And I should be able to see it so that we can post it up here and then get to that question. All right, so Casey posted another one. How can small businesses creatively showcase their products to attract customers? So small businesses creatively showcase. Well, just like we were talking before, if you're using video, I love it when especially a small local business can take a little bit of time and almost like a Google walkthrough, right? Like behind the scenes, show us like what your storefront's like. What's your day-to-day like? What are you doing to get ready for serving your clients best? Sometimes visually, that's a kind of a fun thing. Are there testimonials that you can capture? That's a good creative way to kind of showcase. If it's a physical product, showcase other people using it, or an instructional how-to. I love it when I go to Amazon and they have some kind of how to open the box and put it together. Oh, it's easier than I thought. Then I will order that, right? Or kind of saying like, hey, have you thought about using this same product in another application? I think that's pretty neat, like giving us new ideas for your product so we can go, you know what? I haven't even considered that. I think I will buy that product because now you gave me some new, fresh ideas. So anytime you are just thinking around like, what do people need help on? You don't have to be too super creative. I think it's much better all the time if you can be more helpful. Like it's good to be creative, but if you're feeling strained on that point, don't overthink it. Is your information helpful? Is it going to help somebody when they see it or listen to it, etc.? Kind of like what I was telling my daughter the other day, like, she's a preteen. She's getting to be that age where, she just says stuff. And so one of the things that I mentioned, I said, okay, wait, before you say anything, here's some just some thoughts before you open your mouth. Is it helpful? Is it kind? And is it necessary? So that's just how I live my day. If I'm speaking to anybody or if I'm training, I ask those things before I say it. Is it helpful? Is it nice? Is it necessary? Because sometimes we go on too much. You know what? I don't think the mic is the one picking me up. I'll move that aside. Okay. I keep hitting it, banging on it. All right. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Next one is, how do I turn audience interest into actual revenue without coming off as too salesy? Oh, that's a really good one. I think sometimes the fear is that if I mention my business right off the bat, a lot of really kind-hearted people that I run into that I network with will say, I'm afraid that I'm going to come off as salesy. Okay. Most of what I observe, though, is that people aren't salesy enough, right? Like it's just weird. Mind you, those who are super loud about it, who are technically quote unquote salesy, they are so annoying that you keep that in your head and you go, I do not want to be like that person. Ugh, that person is just not somebody I want to deal with. Because of that, because they're just so grating on your consciousness that you're like, I don't even want anything to do with that. I remember when I was trying to tell people you should create video and at least inform people what you offer. They're like, oh no, people who are on YouTube, they're just so annoying because all they're doing is flaunting this and that, and it's not even real, and I don't want to be associated with that. So instead of seeing the positives of certain methodology, most people tend to focus on the negative and they find the most negative example to not be like. And so therefore they won't even approach certain things. So when you say, I don't want to come off as too salesy, most of what I notice is that you are not clear enough on what the steps are to become your client. What you should be educating us on constantly would be the process of how the customer journey is like in your business. Then, whether or not they like what you have said about the customer journey in your own business and your own brand, let them make the decision. What salesy people do is they are on you until you make a decision. It's high pressure. I do not recommend that. What I recommend is saying this. People who have worked with me have experienced this. Normally, people who contact me are in need of such and blah, blah, blah. Therefore, when they come to me, I show them all the options that they have in order to do business with me. This is how it goes. Whenever you're ready, if you feel like this is the pathway for you, give me a call. Let me know if I could be of service, right? And for those who have been of service, this is a testimonial you could check out. Here's an example of the work I've done. You should showcase yourself. So instead of thinking, I need more revenue, therefore I got to be salesy. No, I would love to grow my business. Therefore, I need to showcase my business in the right way. Do I tell them about what I do in such a way where they're informed and that they can remember me at the crucial time? Is there something too that I can leave behind? I love leaving behind some kind of flyer or pamphlet. That's what brochures were created for, is to provide reference for that client. So some of you are really smart. You're doing some very strategic mailers. And with that, I save things all the time because I'm like, ooh, I need to look into that some more. So I'm going to file it away, keep it near me, put it in my calendar, whatever I need to do to investigate that further because I'm so interested in it. And therefore, thank you for giving me a tool so that I can remember how it goes, right? Because sometimes you are being presentable, you are telling people such great things, but as soon as they leave the conversation, they no longer remember what all that was about. And then they're left digging around for it. And they try to look you up online, they can't find you. Or you don't have everything described on your website. So it becomes like this like blank space in their head again. Your goal is to educate, but then to make it stick. Then therefore, when they need the service, they don't have to feel pressured into thinking of you. But when they do have good thoughts of you, then it's one of those easy ways to kind of engage. And that's what I'm going to pretty much suggest to you. So you won't come off too salesy if you're educational, then also lay off the pressure. You'll be just fine. If they need you, they need you. If they feel connected to you, I feel like it should be pretty easy from there. Okay. So next question, what is, and this is from Andrew, and Andrew is, just so we get some background for Andrew. Andrew trains AI for non-tech teams. I love that. So Andrew's question, what is one proven strategy or approach you've seen businesses like mine use to achieve scalable growth and effective client acquisition quickly and sustainably? All right. Ooh, that's a good question there. Part of the sentence, the question here is the word scalable. In order to have scalable growth, you really need to have everything laid out as something easy to follow by your teams. And whether your team is person team or even an AI team. And you know this by programming AI, you already kind of have to know the process that you're trying to get to, like what's the end result, in order to then prompt AI to give you the right answers along the way. So same thing, if I'm already thinking about scalable growth, my question to me as I'm strategizing my business would be, how can I get myself out of it? Because the less time you're in it, that means somebody else is doing it or a process is already automated for you to do that in order to scale to that point. Because you yourself are limited in time. So anybody out there who's looking to scale their business, you need a team. I was just talking to a friend of mine, and he's been in business for over 7 years. And in his vision, when he first acquired the business, he was thinking, wow, if I do things, within a certain time frame, I should make over $1 million, right? Which is not unheard of in any business because you've seen it from your other business owners that they're grossing over $1 million. Well, what's the difference? When I look at what my friend had been doing for all those years, a lot of it was himself, right? Hard to scale a business when it's just you and yourself versus you and you've hired other people to replicate you. You've got to clone yourself, right? And if you look at people that is in the same field who's making that gross amount, they have a team. There's an admin person, there's a marketing person, there is like a secondary person underneath. That's let's say it's a tech kind of business. There's somebody who's like second in command, third in command, etc., working the other processes. Can there be less people these days with AI? Absolutely. But you still got to think of your AI agents as those personnel people. So if you were building a team, do you have that laid out in front of you? What is this person in this position? Maybe they're an apprentice to be underneath somebody who's already working out in the field. What's that process like? Is there something that they can follow step by step? Most of the businesses that I know of who's grossing millions, they have a book. They have a handbook, processes and procedures. They follow it to a T. Everything is fully done. The owner themselves do not have to be in the nitty-gritty of the everyday. They are now pretty much out there advocating for the business. They're not involved in the small nitty-gritty things. So you got to think about your business as such that you can really get out of it, which is weird to say, especially like if you're like me, a lot of what I do is very intricate to the knowledge base that I have in my head. But I have people like Casey. Thanks, Casey. Look, she's doing the posting. She's helping me share things out there. We're tag teaming on different tasks so that I'm free to do like the major lifting, and she does all the wonderful, intricate things that we've already laid out as a plan. And part of what we've been doing, and just in the past several months, has been refining our plan. So, as if you look at right here, the title, Refined Strategic Blueprint, this is in order for me to scale. So there's nothing that I'm expressing to Andrew, you, anybody else listening that I'm not doing myself. I'm putting together the processes. I'm learning how to best utilize departments and compartmentalize certain tasks so that this division is doing this work, this is doing this work, etc., to then tie in with everything else in a strategic way. One thing we don't want to do is be busy for the sake of being busy. That makes no sense, and everybody's going to get burnt out, and then we're not going to be excited about the things that we're doing day to day. How it should feel is that you're discovering a new process, you're putting something new together, you're seeing what's on the other side of that hill, and you're not feeling like you're going backwards at all. So hopefully some of the things that I said with that is going to help some of you guys get out of your own head, get out of your way, and start scaling in just a massive way in 2025. Oh my gosh, I just want to see that. I just want to see that. You, anybody who's hearing me right now, I want to see massive success from you. So that would be excellent. Okay, so, oh, look, I think Casey, you're logged in as me or something, but it looks like I'm asking the question. That's cool. All right, so me asking the question, but maybe not me. Okay, what is the difference between marketing and promotion? Okay, I like this question. Marketing is a general term. Okay, so marketing means so many things. It's just like if I said the word, let's see, what's a good general word? Marketing is like if I said cooking. Like cooking can mean so many different fields, right? Like marketing involves promotion. So I think of marketing as 4 different pillars, right? So you have the brand piece. Branding is not just creating a logo, having colors, etc. It's everything that your business stands for. What is the brand voice is actually a challenge that we're doing on January 27th in my Facebook group for free. So if you have it clearly defined, or if you need to refine your brand voice, then join us in that challenge. And Casey could put the link to the Facebook group in case you haven't discovered it yet. So come on aboard. So branding is one pillar. Then the next pillar is data. So as you're capturing data, what is the marketing data you're getting back? How are you tracking algorithms? Are you tracking like the ROI? Are you looking at like the frequency of the things that you've done and how they're kind of connecting back to the audience awareness and transactions that's happening, etc. Networking. Okay, so another pillar is public relations. You can also call it networking. How are you showing up in the public's eye? Are you doing that consistently? Are you having meetings? Are you developing relationships? That is a huge part of all of this of marketing. And then the fourth one is promotion. So advertising and promoting is its own division within the marketing space. So when you're promoting something, you're really sharing the spotlight, or you're showcasing a spotlight towards a certain aspect of your brand, towards a potential special you could be running. You should always be promoting because you're transacting in a special way. If you just have your regular way of transacting, that's not always exciting. So if you run a promotion and you create a promotional team or something else, if you show up somewhere, that's a really strong way to then engage your audience, right? People love a special deal. Why do you think they're going to save up their money for Black Friday, right? Because they know a special deal is coming. People will hold on to their cash flow because they know a special is coming. Because if you, let's say, have restaurant week in your town, you're like, wait, we're not going to go out to lunch or dinner until restaurant week, which I love, so that you can get a special deal. Who doesn't want something special? So if you're not promoting, you're not giving people excitement, then we're just kind of like, I'm going to move towards somebody who has a cool coupon this month. Oh my gosh. So this month I get like 20% off. I love it. Ooh, next month I get a free t-shirt. That is cool promotion. Okay. So think about that. Are you promoting? Then you're doing some marketing, but marketing consists of other big things. Okay. Excellent stuff. All right. So next one, again, looking like it's for me, but Casey's typing it in. So how can marketing and business plan be improved in startups? Okay, so in startups, sometimes you don't have enough history to really refine any of these things. So, as far as quick improvement, make sure you tap into people who've been there, done that. Like, do you have a mentor? Did your business plan go through different eyes that have experience? So just because you have a plan doesn't mean it might be the best plan. There's different resources in your area. Look up SCORE mentors. They have that. Those are people who are experienced. Maybe they're now retired. They can gaze upon your business plan and see whether or not there's anything missing that you need to do. Anything that's a marketing strategy, get in certain circles, bring it with you and discuss, right? I love research. I like seeing what other people are into. Don't just be in a bubble creating these things for yourself. If you know of a professional that has a good track record that you can definitely engage and ask, then why not do it? Some people have strategists on their team, and that's me. That's what I do all day. I love it when people come up to me and say, Marilyn, I know you have a lot of knowledge behind what you do. Do you mind looking at my business plan and seeing like, how can I improve? And most of the time, what you see from me is that I'll map it out. I want to see the full picture. Part of how I like to look at things is to see, do you have everything down that should be there? What's a key piece that's missing that if you just implemented that one little thing, it could really supersede everything else that you may have tried before. So that would be my best advice for that one. And then this next one, back to Casey. Casey, hey there. So how can marketing, that's the same one. Okay, gotcha. Okay, now here's the other. What's the best book on effectively using social media in marketing and business overall? I would say it's not so much a book that you should look into. It would be the people that you're following that you see having big success as far as like traction on engagement. Okay. The books that may be written may already be outdated because the algorithms and the stuff changes so quickly. Maybe somebody who has a blog about social media would be a good thing to follow. But sometimes we're looking for these like really obscure answers and we want like all the best strategies, but we're not even doing the first strategy. So be careful when you go down these rabbit holes and you're looking all these things up and oh my gosh, that's so special and unique. I want to do that too. And you haven't even made your account yet, or you haven't even posted 10 times on that one social media account. You can't refine your own step without doing the work as far as committing to the work or maybe committing to a team that's going to help you do the work. That's so hard to do. So even just learning if you're not implementing is so hollow, and you need to make sure that you go through like the tough points like, oh, do I have to do a video again? Yes, unfortunately. If you look at all those people who are successful in social media, what are they doing? Oh, consistent videos. Okay, how long should I be doing consistent videos? Maybe a year or two. What? I don't want to wait a year or two. Well, there's so much more noise out there these days that if you're not getting out there now, it's going to take you even longer than 2 years in order to make an impact. So if you start today and you're consistent, then you're going to see results much quicker, and it may be less than a year. Especially if you start getting really good and you're putting yourself out there, consistency is the best thing you can learn. So I wouldn't recommend the book technically. I would just be on social media and really start engaging. And then if you need something, what's the latest and greatest on YouTube? What can you hear on a podcast? Is there a blog about it? That's the best place instead of a book. Okay, so next one here, and how are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing pretty good. So thanks to our to those of you who are tapped in. Don't forget to say hello in the comments if you can. Showcase your business. Shout out your business. One little tip is that anytime you can talk about your business or showcase it in a lighthearted and educational way, do it. Right, especially if someone gives you the invitation, go for it. Right, attend that networking meeting. Show up for that event, shake as many hands as you can. All good stuff's going to contribute to your success. Okay, so let's read this question. What are some low cost business ideas suitable for a newbie entrepreneur? Okay, low cost business ideas these days. AI. Like, I'm just saying, oh my gosh, that if you can't even imagine just having a computer way back when I started was a lot of money. And then to even connect to platforms and softwares, you had to spend thousands of dollars to even lease out a CRM. It is crazy that you can get most things for free, right? Low cost, but yet it has to be effective. One of the things that tend to mess with people is that they're not willing to spend just a dollar more for a more effective platform. So you could be using something for free, but then you're kind of slowly chugging along because it can't do certain things. If you just were to say, you know what, I know it's a subscription, I know it's about $30 a month, but you know what, it creates the best sales pages. I can then rig it to an API key to my active campaign and do some instant automations for just $30 a month. Why wouldn't you spend it? Right. So one thing is the perception of like where to spend money and where not to spend money. I think what tends to, get in the way of low cost solutions would also be like maybe you sign up for it, but you don't take the time to actually learn it. And so you're not using the full scale of it. So then you might as well not pay, meaning not even have it. Does that make sense? So it's really all about like what you're going to do with it. And does the cost justify the usage? I know for some people, having a free level of an AI platform is just fine. But if you're making tons and tons of queries and you don't have to wait till the next month, then you should definitely try to go ahead and pay for another set of credits or something like that. One thing I will say is if you're in a mastermind like ours, so we do have the Refined Strategic Blueprint Mastermind where I take some of my wonderful members and allow them, to discover free tools that I've already tested and vetted. Like these are things that I know based on their business that they can definitely utilize. And most of them are free. So my goal is I'm always trying to advise for things that aren't going to, cost too much. That is definitely worth it because not all things, even though they don't cost much, are worth the time and the frustration. So hopefully that helps you out. Okay, next one. How do I build an email marketing list from scratch? Ooh, this one's interesting. Okay, so we just did a really cool experiment. And one of the things that I've been working on is creating newsletters for myself and for my clients, and then trying to make it so that it's one, fitting for that audience, but then two, is there a way to grow it quickly? Part of why you would do either a mailing list or any other kind of audience gathering, like an email list, would be so that you can stay connected and create touch points that you definitely know is getting to their inbox or getting to where they will read it. Okay, so one of the things that Casey and I just put together has been a newsletter. So Casey's in charge of getting it to the mailing list, and we're mainly getting people into that mailing list from these wonderful educational events so that we know that those are the types that want this kind of information in their inbox. But then also with the LinkedIn newsletter, instantaneously, and I'm not even on there right now. So Casey, if you could look up how many subscribers do we now have on that newsletter on LinkedIn? We just started that Tuesday, and it's been pretty cool because here's what I'm going to tell you. Last I checked it was like over 150 subscribers just within a couple of days. That will be so hard to do on a regular email type of thing where it's just housed on your website. Because there's already traffic in places like LinkedIn, and there are people seeking information on different social media platforms, that really is one of the best places to get your email list going from scratch in an organic way. You could totally pay for lists. You can buy stuff, you can run an ad and get a ton of emails fast. But then are those emails truly brand specific? Or because sometimes you can get a lot of junk emails. People just like to subscribe things and then unsubscribe. They don't even open your stuff. That to me is not even worth it. I'd rather you have key emails in place, people that you definitely want to stay connected with, that really appreciate what you're putting out there, versus people who just sign up and you never hear from them again. So it's just going to make you feel good on a vanity level. But is that email really creating engagement? That's another thing you have to think about. So think about how that works. And Casey just put that we have 203. What? Thank you, subscribers. Yay. Less than a week, we have 203 people. That's to me better than an email because it's going to come through that platform. Anytime I put an update, and again, this was our test. We haven't even really been doing that or kicking it in for the most part. Now that I know what to do, I like to experiment on me and my profile first before I start implementing it to my other client stuff. But now that I know the game, believe me, it's getting up there, right? So if you're on my roster, you're definitely getting a really cool boost coming up very, very soon. Thaddeus put on here, and don't you just love Thaddeus's brand? Okay, so Thaddeus owns Soft Wash Mafia. Look at that mafia guy that's like on that thing right there. So, and Thaddeus has a podcast coming up called In the Words of the Boss. Super cool, where he's going to be interviewing other business leaders and other bosses. And I'm getting myself on that schedule to be interviewed by Thaddeus, and it's going to be super fantastic. So anyway, Thaddeus reconfirmed that promotion is a part of marketing. I think Thaddeus reminds me of this thing that I had shared. Somebody made a video about circus coming to town. And I can't remember all the things that were on the video, but Thaddeus was like, this is what you've been talking about. Like, when a circus comes into town, like the things that they do that promote the circus, that gets people to come to the circus, and that awareness type of thing. And I always talk about like the marketing tiers. Let me talk about that real quick. So when I classify something as a marketing tier 5 is for awareness. So that's where most of your original like social media stuff, when you first run into it, that's where it lies. 4 are those that you would qualify as interested in your product. So maybe they're going to join your email list. Maybe they are going to subscribe to your newsletter, or they're going to follow you on social media. That is a tier 4. A tier 3 is someone who actually engages more deeply. Maybe they're transacting with you right then and there. They become a client. You are quoting them, all these things at tier 3. And then tier 2 are your loyal people. These are people who've done work with you. They recommend you over and over again. They are your long-term clients, etc. And then that last tier 1, is only reserved for like a fraction of people. Those are maybe people you're going to partner with, collaborators, etc. And so when you look at the world in your universe for your business, you can really kind of label each transaction or person that you're connecting with on those 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 numbers. And that's going to give you the best data, which is part of marketing, having that awareness of saying like, how many people are in my tier 5, tier 4, tier 3. That's how funnels are built, by the way. Having that knowledge of these tiers is how funnels are created. And so without that knowledge, it's hard for you to make a funnel that's going to be effective. And you're going to be like, what? I think I made a funnel. But if you don't know the nuances, then that's probably why your funnel is not effective. Okay, so now Casey says, how do I create a successful affiliate marketing strategy for my blog? Okay, so some people have blogs and you're probably either selling something of value that other people are going to want to advocate for. And in order to be an affiliate of anything, just me personally, I want to make sure that I believe in the product or I believe in the brand, because I don't want to be associated with something that's not aligned with me. So you got to think about who would be aligned for your product, service, etc., that you're creating an affiliate route for. Part of making it successful too is that, are you rewarding your affiliates appropriately? Because if it's just a small, tiny kickback, then most people are like, well, that's a lot of work to not get much back, right? And then I've been in situations where I've given people some referrals and they say, oh yeah, we're gonna kick back some things to you, and that would be great. And yes, at some point when they say that to you, you're expecting that reward, and when you don't receive it, it's kind of like, did you really mean to say that? Because I've referred people through this affiliate link and I've not gotten any paid from it. That really kind of rubs you wrong. So one, make sure you are paying your affiliates first and foremost. Have that down. And if you don't know how to do it, there's some platforms that already have that built in. One of my favorite platforms, and one I would use myself, and one I do use myself, is Gumroad. So I've been putting things on Gumroad. There's been some fantastic people who've been using some great affiliate codes from some of those products, and they're making some extra cash, and it's consistent. And what's nice about Gumroad is that they take care of the payout themselves. I don't have to do that administratively where I might miss something, and I don't want to do that. So the best thing would be, is the platform that you're using fair to everyone involved? Are they getting paid? Because you got to take care of your affiliates. They're like your marketing team. So if you do start any kind of affiliate structure, be awesome to those affiliates because they're doing the legwork for you. That's all I got to say about that. So look into it. It's also a really good way to get out there more. All right. So what marketing strategies will your brand try in 2025? Oh, my brand? Yes. Well, you heard a few things already. We are jumping on Substack much more deeply this year. But AI, woo woo. I mean, I don't even know if the world was to go backwards and not have AI anymore. I would be so sad. And I know that there's some dangers in AI. I've discussed some weird things that AI is doing or people are doing with AI that's happening right now and unavoidable for sure. And sometimes very disconcerting. But if you are really looking at strategy in a quick and really thorough way that it would have taken you maybe a whole week to research something that you wanted to build upon, now it can take you less than 2 minutes to get all the research data that you're looking for so that you're making the right move. So just having that extra time is just crucial in any business, and the world keeps moving so fast. And if we're just sitting too long contemplating or overthinking, then it's going to mess us up. So what's been great about AI is that it is also confirming great thoughts that you may have had about your business. Maybe you haven't quite nailed down your 30-day plan. You have all the pieces, but then it's taking forever to try to really work it into a smoother process. So what you can do is prompt AI to say, hey, AI, I have 30 days to accomplish this, this, and this, and this. I also want to make sure that this and this is taken care of and that I don't forget about this. What do you suggest as a 30-day plan for my business that includes this? And this is the kind of audience I'm looking to reach. What can we create that is going to be simple and easy to follow? Break it down for me. I just gave you an amazing prompt. If you just took the prompt that I just said and stuffed it into your AI, you're going to get a result that you're going to be like, what? This just blows my mind. Okay. I feel like because of all the things that I've been noodling through for the past 25 years, it's so much fun and easy for me to prompt AI. And I love teaching people just how to get that out of your head, because people will get to an AI, maybe their chat GPT or something, and they'll start typing something and it's just flat. And then they're going, well, this is not giving me good results. Well, it's almost like asking, I don't know if some of y'all watch Star Trek, but if you're talking to data, right? Like if you're talking to any computer, you really have to clarify what you're talking about. And you got to give it context because it's kind of like unlimited possibilities. And part of what when you're experienced is that you know how to really navigate the nuances. And the nuances is what's exciting about AI if you know how to prompt it in that way. So it can give you just very generic things, or it can give you very specific and specialized answers based on like how you're asking it. So I think that that's going to be really the biggest thing. We've already been implementing it actually since 2023. It's fantastic because I have social proof of that I've been like harping on the AI things that have been pretty much evolving since really 2 years now. It's fantastic. And so we're here in this wonderful place. You can now automate tasks in ChatGPT. So it's creating autonomous access to everyone, which before we only had generative with the LAM, large language model, LLM. And I think there's going to be an LAM that's shifting for this year for action models. So agents are a huge thing. So creating your own specified agents, AI agents, is also a huge marketing strategy for me that we're going to try out and see how we can keep evolving and refining it. So perfect. Okay, so what strategies should I use to go from 100 to 1,000 LinkedIn followers in a month? Okay, so technically, LinkedIn is not that hard to make connections. So I wouldn't say it's about followers. So LinkedIn is different than Facebook per se, where the connections really where it's at. Followers, I mean, yes, it might be there in that kind of way, but think about connections. Most of the time, when you request someone to connect with you, they become an automatic follower. And so it's all about the connection request. Your personal profile is where most of these numbers, I guess, is going to come from. If you are displaying a page, you can also use that page to grow followers in that regard. And most of what I've seen is that people are going to use their invites to create followers for a page. And then also they're going to use their personal account to create connections for their own personal. And you have to do kind of a routine. So if you want to, in 30 days, grow from 100 to 1,000, so that's 900. If I divide that by 30, then technically it's about 30 followers in a day. So maybe if you're requesting 50 per day, if you're not going to get blocked by that platform, you might hit about 30 acceptance and then you would get there. So there has to be a daily strategy in order to kind of get to your goal for the month. You can also put out something interesting and that people are like, wow, that's so good that I'm going to follow that. But technically, if you only have 100 followers, you may not be already keen on what to say or what to do. So you're probably going to have to do some manual stuff. Most of the time, you have to also engage with people. So in a way, if you're going to look for that kind of bigger kind of goal, you have to put in the work. So is that doable? Absolutely doable. Is it going to take some attention? Yes, like anything else. You're being intentional. Maybe you are asking for connections from those who are definitely appropriate to what you do. Is your profile optimized? Refine your LinkedIn profile. Is there a picture of you? Is there your logo? Do you have your resume on there? Are you getting people to make recommendations? All of those things are strong moves in order to really maximize what you're doing on that platform so that people will quickly accept your connection. And if you meet somebody, let's say you're in a networking group, have you connected with all the people that you already deal with day to day? It's funny because we're making some different new connections. And I love when I see this in my inbox. I actually saw it last week. Someone says, I don't know how we're not already connected. Well, then maybe that was me. Like I failed to connect when I should have connected right away. Or, after a minute, go through all the business cards that you've collected, especially if you're really great at meeting people in person. Have you requested those people in your LinkedIn to connect with you there? Most people are so generous about saying, yes, let's connect on LinkedIn. Go ahead and do it. Because one, it strengthens your algorithms. But then two, if there's a quick thing that you need to share with somebody, maybe a good resource for them, then you can do so in a nice way on LinkedIn and then share it with multiple other people that you may be connected with there. So that's a really fun question, and I hope you take advantage of some of those strategies. Okay, Casey says, how will social media algorithms change in 2025? What can marketers do to adapt? Ooh, okay. So it's already changing. It always has been. And of course, we just talked about TikTok and like how that's already shifting certain things. But if you look at what the platforms in reaction have already been doing, they've been making live video more crucial to their platforms, just like Substack released live broadcasting on their app last week. You have, if you look in LinkedIn, you're going to scroll and you're going to see a whole lot more things that are video, okay, reels, etc. Those are still a high point. And if you're not doing video, I've mentioned it how many times on this video, then do it. Like start, you can be awkward. People love awkward. People love train wrecks. People want to be surprised what you might say next because you're off the cuff. That's totally cool. You don't have to over rehearse something. The best thing you can do is just kind of like, hey, stream of consciousness, point of view type of things. Let me just get it out there. Totally cool. But read the room. That might not fly on certain things like LinkedIn where people want the thing a little bit more polished. Fine. Then do the live stream on YouTube. Get live on Substack. Get live on Facebook, Instagram, all of these things, right? I will say TikTok, if it stays around, I don't know. But again, you're going to be very varied. One of the things you can do, what I like to do, is go ahead and not use native platform. And the reason why I say that because then I don't have record of it, meaning I don't have my own video, then I can't like redistribute it somewhere else. So the best thing you can do is to first film yourself on your own phone, on your laptop, save that, and then restream it out there or just upload it, right? So that way you always have the original file. If you have to switch to a different platform, you have all of your source content and then you can easily distribute it out there. So case in point, when all of this stuff was going down for TikTok, we had made some family content that I really wanted to keep. I've made some other business content on TikTok, but it's like, it's kind of outdated now because things that I talk about is like right into the minute of what's happening in current time. So all of that stuff, totally cool with me if that doesn't exist anymore. But some of the really good things that I cherish is my little children growing up. And so during pandemic, we jumped on TikTok and we're doing some really fun things with that. And I really wanted to save that. But it was like painstaking to save every single thing we've ever created on TikTok. And if I had just not used the native platform and really had my videos stored in my phone some other way and then uploaded to TikTok, then I wouldn't have had to do all of that downloading back to my stuff. So, which is great. Now, one thing about like Facebook, it's sometimes difficult to grab something that you've done live on Facebook and download it into your system. I think there's been some setting changes that I've seen that you could do that again. Before it used to be easy. There used to be a quick download button, but now it's kind of hidden. They don't want you to take things off of their platform and reshare it. I get it. But so if you're just kind of like, just to back it up, I'm going to go ahead and save it myself, right? Or use it myself and then put it out there. So just some things to think about. And really, that's what I'm going to talk about with the algorithms. Now, last thing on the algorithms would be there's a lot more AI things going into all of these algorithms. So they're trying to make either the experience more honed in for you, or they're trying to take over the whole experience. I don't even know, but just be aware of how AI may be affecting any platform that you're utilizing. All right, so now we have about, where are we on time? Oh, I think we're a little over time, but let's go about 5 more minutes and then we'll be cutting it off. And I can't wait for the next Q&A. But what strategies can podcasters use to grow their listener base? There you go. Last question of the evening about podcasters. Okay, so one, have a good, handle on who you're trying to attract. If you're trying to attract listeners, most of the time they have to be aware of that your show even exists. So you start with the people, of course, that you already are in connection with, and maybe those that you're connected with on social media. Give them the heads up that you have a podcast. And that's really where you start. Are the people that you're connected to aware of your show? And if you get them to really give you feedback and then follow your episodes, then it's easier for you to then go into another space to do that. So you think about that in tiers, right? So I would first tell my tier twos and tier threes that I have this podcast and I'd love for them to subscribe or bookmark it, whatever they need to do so that they can listen on a regular basis. And then past that, I can say, hey, guess how many people are already listening to my podcast? Go and join the crowd and follow along and see what we've been discussing. So then you can invite from there. You can also ask your listeners to say, hey, if you liked this episode, please share it to your friends and connections so that they can enjoy it as well. So always say that in your episodes. Just say, remind people, kind of like when you watch YouTube and they say, subscribe, like and subscribe and follow and share. Same thing on a podcast. Say it every so often and say, if you like what you're listening to so far, invite other people. And we'd love to have them listen to our show. Be invitational. Really kind of show it off, right? I know people who make podcasts, but they never post about it. I'm like, what are you doing? You gotta toot your horn sometimes, right? Don't be afraid to showcase what you're doing and tell people, here's when the next one is coming out. I'd love for your feedback. Tell me about what you thought of the episode, etc. So that is my biggest suggestion. And if you could do that, then it's easier for them to spread out organically. All right. So that brings us to the end of our Q&A. I really do appreciate those who are here and who've lent a little bit of their comments too, especially Thaddeus. Thank you for doing so. Those who are watching after the fact, feel free to comment. We're going to be checking the comments. If you need to reach me directly, I believe the best thing would be through social media. Sometimes emails get lost, especially if you haven't emailed me in a minute. Email algorithms are also crazy. But if you're on Facebook, I want you to look up Refined Success. And Casey, if you're able to put the link directly to the group, then that would be a fun way to see you guys and engage with you. Like I said, every morning I do a quick 5-minute live stream to just say hello and kind of give you updates for the day. Any reminders that I can share, I go ahead and share that. If you are, working on something, we'd love to hear about it and help you spread the word, because we're all networking here. We're all in it together as far as really creating change and growth and really establishing success for one another. So that's what I'm all about. Next thing coming up, just bookmark the third Sunday of every month for these Q&As. But if you can't wait that long, join us. And we have that free Facebook challenge, a 3-day define or refine your brand voice on the 27th of January. I look forward to seeing you around. Thanks again, everybody. And I'll say bye for now. So until next time, bye, everybody. Oh, before we go, here's the link. Ta-da! So Facebook groups Refined Success. So come aboard. Look forward to seeing you there. All right. Bye for now. Bye, everybody.